Griffin the Griffin by BlackWing. Chapter 58. The part where more stuff happens. So then to live free, my cable must go with you. Freud had a look of shock on his face. Either that or move to my village close to the source. But father, what of the workshop? What of our business? Furnace asked. Bah! You are the first customers I have had in 2 months, and the only reason I kept that place running was because I could not move cable while she was in stasis. If we must go, then we go. The steel pony returned. On another note, I believe it would behoof us to make our exodus promptly, as the local law enforcement appears to have taken an interest in our activities, I added. Behoof? Ha! I can make the lame pony puns too. What? They turned to look at each other, then ducked and put their hooves over their head, and an extremely loud voice screeched close by. German Freud, you are hereby under arrest for breach of parole, possession of deadly weapons, destruction of public property, and endangerment of civilian life. A guard shouted through a megaphone. These ponies huddled together in the middle of the deck, not wanting to be separated after so recently being reunited. At this point, I wasn't really sure what to do about it. My knowledge of equestrian law isn't so good, so I'm not really sure what I can do. Stufa ya blood! Steelhorn surprisingly spoke up, hefting his ridiculously oversized blacksmith hammer over his shoulder. The guards seemed a little fazed by this, but nevertheless held true, although they did lower the megaphone. Do not resist! Come quietly and we ensure that no harm will come upon you, the latter spoke. Can't you see you're interrupting a happy reunion? His wife's been in stasis for the past 6 years, and she's finally being treated for an incurable disease. That, and he already belongs to me. I thought of a quick plan. Time to bluff my ass off. What? The guard asked, and I huffed out and spoke nonsense. According to Article C, Subsection A, Part D, Paragraph 2 of the newly amended accord between myself and Princess Celestia, due to his service in the defense of Equestria from the changeling attack, the rescue of one Princess Luna from overwhelming numbers of hostiles, the medical treatment of one Princess Luna engaging in combat with one Queen Chrysalis, weakening the leader of the invasion to the point that standard equestrian forces could repel the attack, as well as several classified personal favors for equestrian royalty, I, Princess Celestia, hereby authorize one Captain Griffin of the North Sky of the Griffin Pirates, Chief of the White Wind Tribe, Kin of the Silent Wolf, Dragonbane, Hatesea, and Smooth Criminal, access to any and all equestrian resources he deems necessary in his continued campaign to bring harmony to the northern provinces. Absolute bullshit. We never signed anything, much less went into detail. All she said was, if there's anything you need, just ask. I added Hatesea in my honorific, since that's how I kicked the changeling's queen's flank. It also made me sound more impressive. So I pulled rank on them. I love my job. The guards, on the other hand, seemed rather intimidated, if not for the fact that I just spoke of something clearly they had never heard of. Something extremely important, but I'm also the famed dragon killer. And what does that have to do with anything? The lead guard asked. Well, forgive me if I'm mistaken, but since Gearman Freud here is under arrest, his rights and freedoms are revoked, and then he becomes property of the monarchy, correct? Yes, your point! Since he is now an equestrian resource, I have full access to said resources, and he is not only a skilled mechanist, but a talented surgeon, which my crew is in desperate need of. He thereby falls under that description. Ergo, the moment you place him under arrest, he belongs to me. As does everything he owns, which includes his workshop and anything you may have confiscated from him. Have everything delivered here within 48 hours, or you will be found in violation of equestrian law. For the duration of his sentence, Gearman Freud belongs to me. I watched a legal drama a couple times. Basically say things so complicated that they don't question it. But he hasn't even had a trial yet, one of the younger guards asked. I plead guilty. May I go now? The doctor replied enthusiastically with a maniac grin, not missing a beat. Sweet Celestia, he's so in tune with me, it's scary. They seemed to think for a moment before they burst out laughing. Ha ha! That's a good one. For a moment there I thought you were serious. Just because you've been pardoned doesn't mean you get free reign around here. There's no way you have that level of pull with equestrian royalty. At which point, I pulled out the photo of Celestia, Luna, and myself, showing it to them with the biggest smile on my face. Pinkie Pie would be envious. That's Still doesn't mean... Do I need to write her a letter so you can get it from Chili herself? Add to the tension by speaking of their boss informally. I pulled a quick quill and parchment from my bag. They gulped, and their leader grumbled. Fine. 48 hours, but then I want you out of this city. Done. The guards flew off, presumably with other business, and Gearman's family just looked at me, shocked. What? You never told us of your connection to the princesses, Freud said. And Blue Blood. We pulled his flank from the fire once. Oh, and Cadence. We stopped the changelings from crashing our wedding by crashing it ourselves. Although I don't think she likes me very much. But, yeah, I'm basically a badass who gets to rub elbows with all the bigwigs. You jealous? And there's the troll face. I knew about this from the papers. Well, that you were at least, but not your role. I didn't think it got to the point that you had actually signed an agreement with her, Furnace added. Well, all the things I claimed to do I really did. However, the whole agreement was verbal. There's no accord, so basically I lied. Now let's hurry up and fly this thing to get to your workshop and get everything on board, then bail before they figure out that I threw them for the loop. Man, having ins with royalty is like having an easy bud for everything. Hey, you can't do that. It's okay, I'm the Thane of Whiterun, and then I get away with anything. Everyone just looked at me, not getting the reference. So then, we're joining them after all? Furnace asked. Well, seeing as they have the treatment for Cable, a need for mine expertise, and if I don't go with them, I go to jail, I think it is fairly obvious at this point. Once again, things work out the way you want them to. He gave an almost scowl, like he wasn't happy with something, but it's better than this nothing. I used my wings to stay up and lifted my arms into the air, giving a shrug. Griffin always gets what he wants. Now, let's get this show on the road. I am particularly liking the look of that minigun you had dropped down from the ceiling. Within 6 hours, we had already loaded everything up from his workshop onto the ship, save the building itself. We basically gutted it and bailed out of the city before they could even confirm that I had said to have been false. Knowing Celestia, though, she'll probably just back me up anyway. On our way north now, back to Ruby Hollow to check and see if they're ready to give in yet. Well, you dang pirate, I finished them. Took me a while, but with Gilliman, Cable, and Furnace helping out, it went pretty quickly compared to if I were doing it for myself. Don't forget me, Shimmer piped up. She had grown somewhat in the time we had with her with us. I was beginning to look a little like a teenage dragon, a slight bit larger than a full-grown pony if she was on all fours. She couldn't fit in with Gilda's pack anymore, so we had her and Gilda fitted for a harness of their own. Of course not. After all, you're my #1 assistant. What did you finish exactly? There's a lot of projects going on, so you'll have to be a bit specific, I asked. Alright, well, I refitted Trixie's scale armor to fit her new limb mount, the chest plate, and I made 20 more laser rifles, one for each of the Griffins. They all have much better eyesight and could probably use something like that, since the riders are the ones going close range. Also, you wanted me to make a replacement for the one you two broke? In response, Trixie set out 6 of her explosion balls and whirled them around. It looked like she had a bunch of fairies or sprites or something protecting her. And me. I'll take that as a no, then. He seemed a little let down. No offense, Steelhorn, but using the gun just takes up too much concentration. I should focus more on using my natural spells instead of the gun. You know, more diverse purpose, the blue unicorn replied. I get it. He appeared dejected. Well, yeah, I would too. His gun was what got her leg cut off, and he couldn't even replace it properly. He's probably feeling pretty crappy. Hey, chin up, Steel. If anything, your job just became easier. With you and the Freud family, I'm sure you can cook up something fantastic. He seemed to perk up at the idea of making something legendary, and headed back in after passing their rifles out to the Griffin and Marksman. So, unlike bows and arrows, lasers travel straight. Point and shoot. It goes straight and doesn't fall off due to gravity, and it doesn't have recoil. Keep both eyes open. Lift it so that it's by your right or left eye, depending on preference. Look down to the top, past the end, and whatever there is what you'll hit. It's time for target practice. Everyone mount up. We're going to practice with our partners on our backs. Here's the deal. Trixie and I will fly and release a number of these glowing yellow balls by your goal, and your goal is to pop them by shooting them. Got it? She created one of her explosion balls to serve as an example, and we had an alien shoot it to demonstrate. Alright, form up in a nice chaotic jumble, and then 15 seconds and we're out there. Trixie will put up the first ball, and you all fly after it and try to shoot it down. Part of fighting is seeing through the chaos in the field, and we're preparing for nothing less than a war. So get ready. At which point I leapt and did a backflip off the ship, heading under it and out the other side, where the crews were not expecting me to go. They looked around for a moment before spotting me, already a fair bit away from the ship, the first ball up in the air. I laughed as they all scrambled to take off, trying not to clip each other's wings, several of them failing and having to flap hard to regain altitude. Eventually they began flying in formation, aiming for the ball. I instructed Trixie to move it around randomly, but always keep it a certain distance from us so we wouldn't get hit. At the same time, I'd pull some aerial stunts. Ever play the Nintendo Wii game where each plane has some balloons behind it and the goal is to shoot the other person's balloons? Kind of like that, except I'm the only target. Trixie, call him as you see him. I'll try to evade him as best as I can. I drew my sword, with intent to deflect any stray lasers, hoping they would be good enough shots that I wouldn't have to. They slowly drew nearer, and then their shots came. Trixie moved the target, making them miss. Then I began doing corkscrews and went into a nosedive, then pulled up and arced over their heads, the shots missing the ball each time as they fell short. Sonar. Aim for the head of the target! Don't aim where it is! Aim where it's going! I called as I dove through the same group. Trixie bringing out a second ball and bopping one of them on the head with it. She fell, but with a forceful shift of weight from her rider to tip her back upright, she regained herself and began chasing us again. The shots were getting more accurate now, and I started batting them away if they got close. Trixie and I were laughing, though. We hadn't had this much fun in a long time. She brought out her shield and started knocking shots away as well, or trying to run them through with the tip of her lance. Trying to skewer the laser would give her plenty of practice using it. She wasn't very good, but that's to be expected using a weapon you've never seen before and trying to perform attacks that was proverbially catching flies with chopsticks. About an hour in, the chase was still on to pop this stupid ball, and finally, one of them stopped chasing and hung back. I wondered what they were doing, noticing it to be the same one we had hit on the head. Trixie brought the ball low, and to my surprise, the girl Griffin, shot at my sword instead of my ball, bouncing her shot off and into the ball. It popped. The whole group flew back onto the ship, the successful shooter flying next to me. Tell me, what's your name? I asked. River, sir. She sputtered slightly, then realized I was scowling. She probably thought I was mad at her or something, so instead I put on a dorky grin. Well, River, sir, that's quite an odd name. Well, River's just fine. She smiled awkwardly at my joke. River, that was some good aim. What gave you the idea? Well, I saw the reflection of the ball on your sword. Nobody was paying attention to that, and with their attention focused on the ball itself, I thought I'd try it. And I guess it worked out. It was Raoul's idea, she replied sheepishly, motioning to her rider. Well, that was some damn fine shooting. You two get the day off to relax or whatever. Rest of you, training's done for the day and back to work. The two of them smiled and went down to their quarters. I was a little interested, so I followed them. Unseen, they both went into the same room, and I started hearing noises. The same noises Gilda and I make, although with considerably more growling. Well, I guess if they work closely long enough, they'll have a relationship. And while on board, I'm pretty sure romance will start to bloom between crew members. It's only natural. So what if they're different species? I'm not exactly a griffin myself, and Gilda and I get along fine. Oh, I almost forgot. I gotta knock Gearman's socks off. Not if he wears any. Not that he does. I wonder if Celestia does. Well, I know my next letter now. I'll show him after we reach Ruby Hollow. Another week and we were there. Had some good winds, and what I saw, well, it wasn't too good. The sturdy architecture? Trashed. The fresh earth and grass of the valley? Scorched. There were bones laying about on the surface. If there weren't any, I wouldn't have ever known there was a settlement there. Dragon took a look at, judging by the claw marks. Only one, and the small one at that. Teenager maybe, but packs a wallop. Went right into their den and burned them out. Then killed the ones who escaped to the surface. Didn't eat them though, which means it wasn't hungry. It was pissed off. Revenge maybe? What the hell did they do to make it so angry? It's not like they refused to feed it. If they did, then it would have eaten the bodies.
Perhaps the fight started within,
Grell offered.
Would have had to if the attack came from outside. They would have holed up in the den instead of escaping to the surface and would have gone deeper in. There wouldn't be any dead bodies out here. They'd be piled up at the deepest level. Now, it started down there and burned its way up, forcing them out as they went. But the only reason a dragon would be in there is if...
Etch trailed off. They tried to take it as a slave. It got mad and slaughtered the whole lot of them, I finished. Well, I guess they got what's coming to them. Burn marks are old, ground is cool, and it's long gone. See if we can salvage anything. Damn it, I was hoping they'd change their minds, but it looks like they didn't get the chance. Dear Princess Celestia, have you ever worn socks? If not, you should. They're fuzzy and will keep you warm in the winter. Sincerely, the silver-tongued devil Griffin. P.S. I hope you're not mad about me taking Gearman. He's fine with it, and we really needed a surgeon considering past events. Also, I hope you're not mad about the bar tab. Kinda forgot to pay, although we did give them a free show. Hey, what did you expect? We're pirates. Yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum, which, incidentally, is always gone. With that, I sent the letter and wrote another one. Dear Spike, please give this to the Seafoam Green Unicorn with the Lyre cutie mark. Thanks. Sorry for using you to forward my mail. Have a sapphire. Sincerely, Griffin the Pirate. P.S. Shimmer wants to meet you. I took a small blue gem, then enclosed it in the scroll before writing a second one later, and pulling it aside as well. Dear Heartstrings, or Lyra if you prefer. Humans. Sincerely, one of them. P.S. Please tell me I got the right unicorn. If not, this is gonna be way awkward. Submito at Spike. And then it went on its way. Alright, time to play Freak Out the Doctor.